This is it. The fantasy playoffs start this week, and we need these wins now more than ever. But a great week always starts with the waiver wire. So today, we're going to go through every single position, give you the best pickups, and if you have any questions about your lineup or you just want a second opinion, I'm here. You drop that in the comment section below, and you will have an answer as soon as possible. Now, if you have Drake May on a bye this upcoming week, I think the best option is Trevor Lawrence to be not only a pickup, but a start this upcoming week. He is owned in a majority of Yahoo leagues, but ESPN leagues. And hey, the majority of Yahoo leagues, he might still be there. 3 20-plus point fantasy games since their bye week, which is the last 5 weeks. This is a week coming up where they've already taken control of the AFC South, but now they can really extend their division lead because it's a huge game at home against a Colts team that has a Daniel Jones who's very banged up at the moment. The Jacksonville Jaguars not only can get a big win at home, but they can extend this division lead, and again, really cementing their spot in the playoffs here in about a month. I think this week, again, it could be a shootout, it could be a low-scoring affair, but I think Trevor Lawrence gets it done for our fantasy lineups. I'm saying to expect anywhere from 16 to 18 fantasy points with the potential of being much higher. Now, maybe the best pickup on the week is still Christian Watson. He is owned in more than 50% of leagues, but if he's out there, he's the number one option in a great offense and a team that next week has a chance to take control of the NFC North. Over the last 3 weeks, Christian Watson is averaging 16 fantasy points a game. That is elite. Number one wide receiver status. And with guys like Josh Jacobs dealing with injuries and Matthew Golden dealing with injuries, that really opens up the door for Christian Watson to get elite number one wide receiver production. He has 3 top 10 matchups coming up, but the most important thing is that this upcoming week he plays the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears are the number one seed. They've flown past many of our preseason expectations as a team, and the Packers could bring them down to earth a little bit here. Big game. Watson should be a huge focal point of this offense if Jacobs is not healthy. But even if he is, I think this is a guy that not only should be in our lineups, but he could definitely play this upcoming week. But here is the tale of the tape, and these are the best players at every single position. Again, if you have any questions about your lineup or other free agents, let me know in the comment section below, man. It's playoff time. A second opinion doesn't hurt, and I'm here for you. You will have an answer. Now, Trevor Lawrence, we talked about him and his potential great week ahead. Blake Corum has been getting more opportunities week after week. Last week, despite a loss, looked like Blake Corum's best NFL game yet. And again, he found the end zone. So Blake Corum, though Kyren Williams is the guy there, he could be maybe the best handcuff option. If it's not Blake Corum, it's Tyler Algier. He's a thorn in the side of fantasy players because he's never, we're never excited to have Tyler Algier on our roster, let alone start him. But it's like when he's not on our roster, he produces. And that's exactly what he's doing the last couple of weeks, finding the end zone in a couple of them. We talked about Christian Watson at the receiver position. The next best guy, I would say, is Jaden Higgins. He continues to produce at a very high level, continues to be reliable now that CJ Stroud is back in the mix, and they have a big game this weekend against the Kansas City Chiefs, where both teams backs against the wall, trying to make that playoff push, and Jaden Higgins needs to be a huge part of this offense as Woody Marks is dealing with some injuries, and Nico Collins, of course, is the focal point of opposing teams. Colston Loveland is no doubt the number one tight end pickup on the week, owned in less than 50% of leagues on the major 2 platforms, and he's still getting a consistent production on a week-to-week basis as far as how many targets he's getting from Caleb Williams. Now, a lot of key games coming up for the Chicago Bears. They just took control of the NFC. Can they maintain it? I think Loveland has to be a huge part of this offense if they want to get home field advantage. At the kicker spot, we're going to go Evan McPherson. Shout out the Gators as he had 24 points last week. And this upcoming week against the Buffalo Bills, it could be a shootout between Joe Burrow and Josh Allen. We know how those guys get down. And Evan McPherson, I want any part of this game. So him as a kicker on an offense that has their question marks, I think he can carve himself out at least a double-digit fantasy point day. Defensively, I love the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're at home against the New Orleans Saints, and I would usually stay away from this matchup. But the Carolina Panthers, they're knocking on the door. They're trying to take control of this division, and Tampa needs to hold on to their horses, and they're starting to get healthy. Mike Evans should be back in a few weeks, but as of now, This defense needs to step up. Again, at home against the Saints, and over the last few weeks, the Buccaneers have done a better job at getting after opposing quarterbacks, generating turnovers, and I think they can get after Tyler Shuck like Miami was able to do this past week. And again, give us at least 8 to 10 fantasy points in week 14. But again, man, week 14 is here. It's the fantasy playoffs. If you have any questions about your lineup or you just want a second opinion, again, I've said it for the third time, drop those down below. I've been doing this 3 years now, and everybody always gets an answer. Without that being said, if you made it to this point in the video, please consider dropping a like on the video and subscribing to the channel. It really goes a long way. It seems like such a small gesture, really an irrelevant gesture, but I promise you, it goes a long way as far as this channel going out to more fantasy football players. So if you enjoyed, of course, support us down below. But again, that's week 14. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get these wins, and I'll see you next week.